And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm with my buddy and pal, co-host, Mr. Chris Edwards. What's going on, Chris?
Morning, sir. I'm good. Can't complain. Can't complain. It's
Ah,
Thursday. We're almost at Friday and the weekend again. I
I
feel like
cannot
the weeks
believe
just
how
keep
fast the week is
going.
going.
Yeah,
The week is just going too fast. It's like we were just here.
yeah, yeah.
I can't keep up. I feel like, however, I am making progress. I spent Gwendolyn will be proud of me because I got my organization done, and I was on my what we call OneNote, and
Yeah.
I went through my whole OneNote, deleted stuff that was on it since 2009,
Well,
and
though,
went
there's
through
nothing
it.
wrong with having old notes because sometimes you want to go
Yes,
back and see what you were thinking.
and some things I kept, obviously, like lessons that I learned and photography lessons that I learned in 2016 and 15 and 14. And
Okay.
so I went through, organized it, created books, educational books, put in networking books, put in all that stuff, and done lessons and seminars and all that stuff. And housing, the apartment, organizing that, come getting it all set up. So now I can start doing inventory. What's in this house that needs to be with me, and what needs to be storage, what needs to be. So this is putting everything. This organizing my OneNotes has been a blessing, but it was exhausting. I've been doing it since yesterday, and
Okay.
I finally ended. I finally finished it about 15 minutes ago.
But though, you're actually not finished yet. I'm sure you'll find other stuff you have to
Oh yeah, to fine
physically
tune
go
it.
through.
You got to fine tune it, but it was definitely much better because when I would look at my OneNotes, I would be like, "What the heck? It's just so much stuff that I've accumulated." How many of you
Yeah.
guys have OneNotes? Does anyone have OneNotes out there besides me?
Well,
I know we used to
I don't
have.
use OneNote app.
What do you
I don't use
use?
that app. I use the Apple Notes app.
There's an Apple Notes app.
Yeah, if you go on your phone, just type in notes, it'll pop up.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
You know what
I
it is? I
use
have one.
that.
I already pay for it, so I use
Right,
OneNotes, and also if
right.
I happen to one day leave Apple, I have all my notes, and I don't have to. However, like I do have to go back to my Samsung notes and now filter those into the OneNotes, so that way they're all in organization. They're all organized. All my notes.
I'm try. I've always tried to keep my subscriptions down. Like I last year I got rid of a lot of subscriptions that I just did not need anymore.
Yeah, I
Tried to
got
just
rid
stay away
of.
from them.
Yeah, I knocked out a bunch of them, but I need to get more. I need to get rid of more subscriptions. Like I think I'm going
Yeah.
to get rid of, as much as I love Apple, they don't have enough programming to satisfy me. It's like
Well, what do you? I
one,
mean,
and
like, what are
then
you looking
you
for?
go.
What
I like
What are you looking for?
action. I like action. I like
What's
good action. Like I just saw yesterday on Apple TV, The Gorge. Has anyone seen The Gorge?
I had that in my list of things to watch. I had not watched it yet. Um, so
The
look, if we're talking
Gorge
about
is
things that
really good.
I didn't see that, but here's another one to watch.
Which
I
one?
think we probably touched on it last week a little bit. Adolescence
Oh, that was good. That was on
on
a HBO.
Netflix.
That's on Netflix.
Netflix,
Very
yeah.
good.
So here's the
Very
thing:
good.
Netflix is going to win some Emmys this year. It has gotten such a critical acclaim. It's actually Netflix number one limited series ever right now. This thing was
Mm,
shot, I think, in like a couple weeks. It was done in
yeah.
like, or a couple days actually. It was
And
done
four
in like four
episodes.
takes. In
Yeah.
4 takes, they used one camera and shot this whole thing. It's
Really? I
crazy.
did not.
If you go on Netflix right now, they have some documentaries on how they shot it, the time period it took to shoot
Wow.
it, and it's really coming from a different perspective. Typically, you see these type of series and shows and movies from the perspective of the victim and the victims' families, but now you're really seeing it from the parents of the accused or the
Yes,
convicted. It really makes you think because they question everything about what they did as parents, and it's so heartbreaking. Like at the
it
end, that
is.
episode 4, you just feel for them so much.
Yeah, you get into it,
Mm.
and what I love about I'm a British television movie consumer, so
Same here.
it was really good to see the topic of adolescence from a British standpoint because it's not only I'll just say and white young men here in
Yeah,
America that are having this identity crisis, and it's a global phenomena right now
it is.
in the Western world with white young men or white young boys, and it was really good. I mean, and they had a couple of my favorite movie stars, my British movie stars in it. So yes, Adolescent. If you have not seen it on Netflix, it is very well done. It's
Must
very,
watch.
and it's also because it's not so. And this is what I love about British movies as well and series. It's not as polished as American, which makes it feel like you're a part of the film. I don't know
It's
if that makes
more
sense.
realistic and
It
gritty.
feels
Yeah,
realistic. People are
yeah,
again, if you look at British television, people
they do
have
it well.
they have mouths, they have mouth, they have teeth like us. And there's a lot of most people are not. There's no whitening of the teeth. There's no
Yeah,
fanfare. Everyone looks normal. Everyone looks like real people.
it's
I
more
love it. I love
realistic.
British television.
It's more.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm
Same thing
in the
across
same
Europe.
camp as you. Yeah,
Yeah, I like
I'm in the
real
same camp as you. I love British programming. I will sit there and watch British programming all day long because
all day.
there's an authenticity to it. It, like
Yeah,
you said, it doesn't seem polished and it doesn't seem Hollywood. It seems like someone stuck a camera in front of these people or just following them, and it's like their day to day, true, real selves. They're not pretending because there's a camera there. It's love it, love it, love it. So go see
love
it.
it, love it.
Go and
So
watch
adolescence,
Adolescence.
but Apple does have, and then I try to get on to this dope thieves, and I couldn't get it. I just couldn't get into it on Apple. So Apple, they have like these nice series like Dark Matter, and C. There's a bunch of them. However, they're so spread out that I don't think it's worth having to pay monthly for that service, even though once, like I said, when they do have good programming, but it's so spread out and not enough of it.
Well,
Netflix gives
well,
you a whole lot more, even though Netflix sometimes gets sporadic too, but Netflix gives you more bang for the buck.
but so here's the thing, and I think this is so true of all of these streaming services. People thought that streaming services would be the end all be all for cable
Mhm.
TV, but it's the same thing. It's people have different tastes and different likes, so you're not going to find all of your programming on one streaming platform, and I think people just need to be aware of that.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate these streaming platforms now every 1 month to a year they're increasing their prices, so it's basically streaming services when you add them all it's the same price as cable or even more. you
Yeah.
know
Well, no,
um I
some people pay like $200 for cable. I'm
and
like,
what
that's insane.
Oh, I couldn't even tell you the last time I had cable. Cable, I think it was back in the early 2000s,
I got
when I
rid
was
of
living in
cable in
Philadelphia.
2001. That's how
That's
long I have
probably
not had
no
cable.
2003. I think maybe it was like the last time I had cable. It's yeah, but anyway, you're not going to find everything you want on every streaming service. It's just a matter of does this streaming service have enough that I'm willing to pay for it? Basically, what it boils down to, and it's just like cell phones. Depending. Pick the platform you like, pick the phone that you like, and same thing with the streaming services.
Well, let's say good morning to some folks, and let's bring our wonderful Gwendolyn. She's in the back room. Bring her forward. Let's bring her into the panel. What's
Come
going on,
on,
Gwendolyn?
she's
Morning.
back.
She's back.
Morning.
She's and look, we're all matching. We're all in our earth tones.
I got the
Yeah.
memo.
Okay. Come.
You got the
Good.
memo. We got the memos going on. Let's see who's in the building. First person in the building is our wonderful Hannah. She is always in the building. She's the first person in the building every morning. Good morning, Ron and Chris and Touch Base Daily family. And you see Darnett saying hello and good morning. And we got Gwendolyn with number 3 in the building. Whoa, good morning, Miss Gwendolyn. And then we have Hannah saying good morning to folks as well again. And then we have the wonderful, fabulous Janet Fisher is in the building. Good morning, Touch Base Daily World. And also Hannah saying good morning to everyone. Kaz is in the building. She says, blessed and thankful Thursday. And then we got wonderful Anthony Rowland in the building. Good morning. Good morning. Good. I almost broke out into song. Good morning. Good morning. No, I won't do it. I won't do it. I will not sing today. Anthony says, Donna is a British TV show and movie junkie too, especially if it's dealing with the royal family.
They even do that well though too.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. Like I said, we all know the acting that we see today originates a lot of its origins in technique from the British, the UK. So now that doesn't say that acting all over the world has come from the UK, but what we see in American acting has been built on the UK, Shakespeare, all that stuff. Shakespeare is from England. Cass says, I used to be, okay, I got that one, got that. Okay, and we got this. Here we go. Hey, Kimmy's in the building. There we go. There we call it there. Kimmy's in the building. She says, hello, everyone. And who else is in the building? Hey, Mr. Bryson's in the building. I see you, Mr. B. What's up, Ron? What's up, Chris? What's up, RLP fam? What's up, CQ fam? Happy Law and Order Thursday. That's right. It is Law and Order Thursday.
I'll be watching tomorrow.
Rashawn is in the building. She's usually working or she's getting off work. Miss Sean is in the building. She says, good morning, Ron, Gwendolyn, Chris, and Touch Base Daily fam. Happy Thursday. So we're here. The gang is here. Make sure you hit those likes. And that it lets folks know that we're here in the building and that we're all having some fun over here. Gwendolyn, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
You want an honest answer? You want me to lie?
Yes, I love when you do. First of all, you can't lie. You don't know how to lie.
I'm one of the best ones, man. Virgos can keep a lie because we keep our receipts in order. So I'm not gonna lie about that one. No, I can get you a good one. Here's the deal. So I am fighting with a company, and I'm just like Ron. You know how I feel about where I shop and where my money goes, and I am very particular. I'm very particular about where stuff is coming from, and I am a made in USA person. Am I going to get something every blue moon made in Taiwan or what have you? Yes, but I work really hard to not have my money leave this country, right? And so there was a company that had a Shopify site. Turns out they are from, I almost said something, they are from China, and I am livid. It's a scam. It's a scam, and it just really irritates me that there are people who put time into creating these false fake fronts just to take people's money and check it. Like if 1 in 5 people fight them, they are literally making money off of people in fast fashion. I am not a fast fashion person. It's not where I reside. And so we have been going back and forth since Tuesday on getting my money back. I am that person. I don't care if it's $5 goddamn dollars. It's my $5. So that's how we started this morning. So
I know you must be fired up in some way.
I am beyond, consumer behavior and just treating people right is that's my backbone. I'm not going to take your money, even as a photographer or a coach, if I know I cannot deliver what you are paying for. It does nothing for me to do you dirty. There are people in this world who are entrepreneurs and they feel as if they have to like undercut people or overcharge or not share all the right info. When you do that, you cut off your blessings. You get less business because now I know I can't trust you.
Yeah,
ABC
News.
So much easier to just
ABC,
do right.
yeah, ABC News did a document, not document. They always have when they check out scams and stuff, and they were talking about how
Investigative
baby
reporter.
the seats, investigative reporters, and they were talking about child seats for cars. And a lot of those, when you go online on Amazon, a lot of those are not made in the USA. And because they're not made in the USA, they act like they're made in the USA, but they're not. They're counterfeiters, and they're not even safe because they're not set up properly. And they were sharing that that so many people have been scammed into buying these pieces of these products, and so they did a whole thing on how to look for these products that are on Amazon, but they are in China somewhere or some other place in the world, and they were sharing how when you are looking for these and you said the audacity of creating a car seat for a child that is not probably going to work in an accident.
It's awful.
Yeah,
that's awful.
It's
That is, we live in a world, there's so many parasites. There are people that just feed on hurt and pain and just not doing the right thing. And it was just interesting.
sounds like the U.S. government.
Well,
I was going to say that, Chris.
Sorry. Huh? That's what I can think
Sounds
of.
like the U.S. government, especially in this day and age. So the first headlines up today, and obviously, what do you guys feel about Signalgate? First of all, does anyone? First of all, let me find out in the panel. I said not the panel, but our community. How many of you in the community use Signal as a Signal app? I know Gwendolyn on the panel does. I don't.
I have the app.
Uh-huh.
I have an account, but I've never used it because I'm big on WhatsApp. Like most of the people that I keep in touch with internationally, and even within the domestically, are on WhatsApp. We have family group chats on WhatsApp. People that I know overseas, I still communicate with, it's WhatsApp. When I travel, sometimes I do have international service on my phone, but sometimes it's just easier to use WhatsApp because it's just like texting.
Danette does.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Danette. Danette says she uses it, and Kimmy says she doesn't use it, just finding out about it. And they said
they're all the same.
Yeah, I'm again, I've been with WhatsApp since WhatsApp started, pretty much, and I've been using it because when I used to travel to Africa all the time, all my friends in Africa are on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is very well before Facebook or Meta bought it. It was always a big app on the African continent. Lots of places use it, and so it's a great way of communicating, and you didn't have to worry about charges and bills and all that other stuff and extra money. And so people all in on the continent, and also I do believe in South America as well, use WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is a global app, and it was big out overseas before it was big in America.
Yes.
So.
And plus, it was encrypted, and that was something that people really believed in and relied on. Now, let's get to this whole Signalgate, because this is just utterly ridiculous. If this was Obama and his administration, everyone would have been fired. They would have been put out in front of firing squads and all shot in the head in public square. These people have said, "Oh, it's not a big deal." Who doesn't send an accidental text? They've actually sent military plans in real time to a journalist, and they're so stupid that instead of looking at who they're sending to, they just looked at the initials and thought it was someone else and had him in there. And they were talking, and kudos to this reporter for having scruples and not just publishing everything. He was very careful with what he came forward with and what was published. And of course, they're trying to say, oh, he conned his way. No, how it works is you get an invite. Someone sends you the invite to get into the group. You can't just get into any group on your own. That's the first lie that they told. The second lie was that he was in there mischievously doing things. Like, no, he didn't even engage in the conversation. He sat there and watched, and he screen recorded. Good for him. And then they tried to lie, oh, no one, of course, everyone did the Trump thing. Oh, I don't know about this. And, oh, I didn't even realize I was in the group chat. And let me tell you something. They've got several group chats going. The fact that you've got Secretary of State in there, you've got the head of the DOD, you've got the head of the CIA in there, they're all communicating on an unsecure governmental app, right? And they're telling their war plans. Anybody can intercept that.
Yes.
And the reason why he knew was true is because 2 hours later, what he read in the chat was actually happening on TV. And no Republican has called for their firing yet. None of them.
No, they're not, because again, not like the Democrats do not do what the Republicans do. The Republicans stand by their man. It's in politics, it's in relations. They stand by their man. They will not bend. They all went on with the same lines yesterday.
They kiss his ass.
Yeah.
They bend enough to do that.
Crazy.
It's infuriating. I mean, I feel like I keep coming on here every Thursday, and I'm just trying to pull the hair that I don't have out. It's ridiculous. Every week it's the same thing. Like
every week.
I don't know.
Okay, so here's what you're feeling, Chris, and this is why, as I tell Ron all the time, imposter syndrome doesn't exist. Okay, this is that bullshit right there. This is it. This is their idea of meritocracy. It's like, oh, so this is your example of people of merit. Look at the foolishness. Look at this. Because if these people who are clearly fraud,
if they don't feel it, if these people don't feel some type of syndrome, no one should be.
Yes, like, dude, surely. These people are they are frauds. Like, we know they're frauds. We know they are not qualified. And Ron, you and I know we have been in some rooms back in our previous days where someone opened their mouth and all I could say was, "How did you get in here?" Yeah, like what? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, this is clearly privilege.
I almost broke out a song.
It's privilege, and so.
Sorry.
God.
You're not supposed to be here.
You're not. Yeah,
they didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the memo, and they're not going to. It takes. We said this last year. It takes a lot to have somebody sit down and recognize that they have been told a lie, that they are special, and that they are of a certain level. That takes a lot. Con artists are great con artists because they know how to walk in that lie. These folks are walking in that lie. That Hegseth dude, oh my goodness.
Hegseth. He is.
I mean, he's like, it's just.
He's like a hillbilly.
Ridiculous.
I read these every day. I read secrets every day.
Hold on, what are they calling out? The whiskey hire, not the DEI or DUI hire. He's the whiskey hire.
He's the whiskey hire.
It's ridiculous.
But again, they're still missing the point. The point is, and because they keep saying, it's from Trump and all the rest of them. They keep saying, "Oh, it was a successful."
It doesn't matter.
Strike or in Yemen.
It doesn't matter.
But
I mean, they spent years talking about Hillary's emails.
But yeah, exactly. It's not about the strike. It's not about the success of the strikes. It is about them using Signal, a commercial app, to communicate high-level secrets and information.
You're asking
they are not supposed to use
who are not of quality to recognize what they're doing wrong. Can we make that question make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
I
what?
mean, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what we say because it really doesn't matter. I mean, we know we know right from wrong. We know that, and all other administrations, Republican, Democrats, outside of Trump, know that what they are doing is illegal. Illegal. So listen to me. When they were texting some people, I think one of them was in Russia, actually, while the texts were being sent.
Yes.
One was in Germany, I believe. So they were in international territories receiving and sending this information.
And
when they travel, they're not supposed to use personal devices. They're not in the skivs that they have built in their homes or in the governmental offices that they've been assigned. They are literally texting people on their personal devices.
And they have no care. And they have no care because who's going to check them? Now, we know that
who's going to check me, boo?
Balances, but they have no care because this is full privilege on display. And even the people who were like, well, they're doing a great job and they don't want to eat that crow. Now, I already asked folks, you want your crow fried? You want it baked?
Wait, is your husband whistling?
We all told you.
Your husband whistling?
But on top of that, in the Signal app, they are having this communication, right? But then it says it's to be expired in 10 days.
Yeah.
Which is against the government's rules because everything you communicate has to be documented and put into a report.
Which is why they're using it.
That's why they're using it. Exactly.
Yep.
And guess what?
That is the purpose.
We all know, all the smart people in the room. This is a very smart community, so everyone in this room is smart. This just happened to be.
Hold on. What is going on? I'm hearing music.
You hear music?
I don't hear
Is someone
music.
singing?
Are you okay?
No. Are you hearing something?
I was. Hold on. Maybe it's me. Go ahead. Maybe it's on my computer. Something's playing.
Did you hear my vocals in your head? How did you get here?
No, you know what? There's something playing in one of the windows I had open.
Oh my God!
I was like, I thought Gwendolyn's husband was over there whistling at first. I'm like, what's going on?
He's like, what's happening right now?
He's like, he's hearing things, y'all. He's hearing things. He's having a moment.
Oh,
right.
This is how crazy they're getting me now. I'm hearing things.
But the thing is that this is not the first time. This cannot be the first time. This is just the first time they've gotten caught.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
This is, so we don't know how much of our secrets have been taken and used overseas. How many of our agents, CIA agents, people that go into the field and risk their lives to get information have been compromised?
Speaking of that, they actually even name dropped undercover CIA agents on that thread. And I'm like, you are outing your own people. And you wonder why other countries do not want to give us briefings anymore now. They don't trust us. How can you? And then they get on TV and lie about it.
This is why I say, guys, and I know y'all probably hear me say it over and over again, make sure you start packing up and when you go grocery shopping, get your extra beans, get your extra canned beans, get your extra water. Don't go crazy. Don't be panicked. Don't be in fear, but just buy a little extra along the way. Because you know what? And Gwendolyn and I have had this discussion before. Some of my other friends, we've had this discussion. Something very bad is going to happen under this administration.
Well, why wouldn't it happen? I mean, think about it. You have a guy who literally is trying to be all up under Putin's titty. I mean, hey, it's only a matter of time.
He's sucking on it right now.
Okay, see, Chris, you have to go there.
Oh no, let's just go there. There's no mistaking it.
Oh my God! Hold on, let's see what people are saying in our community. Anthony says, the Dems' silence on this is deafening. The Republicans would be out with torches and pitchforks if this happened under a Democrat administration. I agree with you for the most part, Anthony, but just like Warren said earlier, Warren said this earlier, that's not totally true because the Democrats have held their hearings to try to press them into resignations. So there is a Democratic movement to help to confront the issue. We all know that the Democrats have very little power to do anything. They can create these panel discussions and they can create these hearings, but that doesn't mean anything's going to get done. But what it does do, the hearings allow the public to hear the facts and to confront these people that are lying. Like, I mean, you had each one of these guys was just lying after lie after lie and covering up. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say.
Truth first, though, don't you?
What's that, buddy?
You have to come into a room, a space, a situation with an open mind, wanting to hear the truth. Yeah. The people who are on that side of the table, those folks, they are so deep in bias, that message will not resonate.
Exactly.
As far as they're concerned, somebody from the deep state got in there and that man hacked Signal, and that's how he got in there.
Oh, yeah. Which I think was almost just barely on defamation of Signal from the president, because he was saying, oh, maybe Signal is a bad platform, or what was in paraphrasing, he was saying that it was a malfunctioning,
or something.
A malfunctioning of Signal.
Bruh.
I'm going to stop because it's just, I feel my blood pressure just rising.
I hear Donette says no accountability. Charlene says cue in Deborah Cox. Cue her in, and then Kimmy Kim says now the world knows they use the app. So do they intend to make changes like follow prior communication? What else is a problem is that in one of the communications, how they're talking about our European partners.
Dude.
Did you see how they were talking about the Europeans?
Real quick. So this is where Ron thinks I'm so great. So in my former life, one, you don't ever use your business computer, your work computer to send messages because they can always go in and check your messages. Two, if you're going to talk about somebody, you go out to the parking lot in the very furthest corner, no recording devices, and you do all that stuff face to face. You don't put that stuff in a text message. Everybody know that. Or if you do, you use your code language. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have your stuff down. These are rookie mistakes. Because I was like, how you gonna talk about your friends like that?
These are dumb rookies. On top of that,
we're assuming these people have any type of morals and they know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They're uneducated. They're uneducated buffoons that are running a quote unquote government. It's ridiculous.
But the other thing is that the other thought behind this all is, again, and Gwendolyn, we all, because I used to play a spy in my other life. When I used to look at Clear and Present Danger and all that other stuff, I live vicariously through film. So I'm a spy in a film life. But you also know that if you're on Signal, like some of them did it, not all of them, maybe one or two. I think Rubio put ROT or something like that. You don't use your real name in that kind of chat. If you are like in this chat where you think is going to be, you're trying to be confidential, obviously they weren't, because they don't care about confidence. And they knew who each other were by code name. We learned that from Scandal. Remember in Scandal when they had everything?
They need Olivia Pope.
Olivia Pope was like, you don't put your name out there.
That's just
do y'all remember Olivia Pope? I used to love me some Olivia Pope.
But
Scandal.
here's the thing, this is not just regular people that work in the government. These are all head officials in their
These
departments.
are,
The
look,
head
you
of the
had the vice
CIA, the head
president.
of DOD, the vice
Yes.
president, the head
Secretary of
of
State.
I mean, they're all the top appointed officials are doing this. It's not like your regular Susie and Joe that decided, you know what, we work in this office, but we're going to communicate and share information. No, these are the top. And no one else answers to. They are the top. And the fact that they're doing this, I mean, hold on. Where was it? It was a couple weeks ago where the woman, there was a woman who was working in, I forget which government, the agency that oversaw like a lot of the firings. I forget the initials, but while she was working and firing and laying people off, she was in there creating her TikTok and Instagram
Yes.
looks and posting it. I'm like, you're
Yes.
firing people, and then in the same breath, you're creating TikTok videos in your government office, being paid by taxpayers to do TikTok and Instagram videos. These are people that they've hired and put in these positions that are supposed to be the best people. Remember, he only hires the best people. You have hired, that's basically what it is when you put a president into office. You have hired a convicted felon to run a country. Yep. So how do you not expect for felon activities to be going on in the government?
Yes.
Ooh, I'm tired now.
Can I share something with you all to know this?
Come on, Ron.
Since I like spies, and this is one of my favorite spies. One of my favorite spies that's a real spy that has a YouTube channel. I mentioned it briefly yesterday that I was going to share it with you all, and I'm going to, because this no one else could explain, and he still hasn't been asked to be on any of these networks. Now this is what he does for a living, is hack people's phones and learn from the top echelons of people around the globe, in Moscow, in Ukraine, all over the globe. Anyway, let me bring to you Mr. Malcolm Nance. I mean, he's not our guest, but we're going to what he posted yesterday. And I'm not going to go from the beginning. I'm going to go right into the middle of it. And I want you guys to hear what this man has to say. And I spend a little time here because I do believe you need to know what this means. Again, they're skirting around the real problem. It's not about, it's not so much the plans that they shared. It's those devices that they shared them on, because you can use those devices to go all the way back and follow into all of the secrets that we have. So it's big. This is huge. This is considered in the intelligence realm the worst breach in American history. And Americans don't understand unless they literally hear someone lays it out just like this. I see Warren says, let me just go there, Warren. Warren says, remember when the Biden Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was being treated in the hospital, and all the Republicans demanded answers as to why Biden did not know, but now they put up the double standard. Exactly. They lost their minds.
Yep.
Oh, he was in the hospital, and who was running? Janet says, Ron, M15, MI5 was revealed. We've been leaking, I think, in his first term. Yes, well, that's why they don't trust America with the secrets any longer. I see you guys are on board with my Olivia Pope analogy. And but here we go. Listen here. And this is not to make you afraid. This is to make you smarter than you arrived into this chat, into this communication. Here we go. This is Mr. Malcolm Nance, and love this brother.
Intelligence, while people at Korea were breaking them, and we managed to intercept and figure out where the Japanese were. Or you can watch that classic, The Conversation, in which Gene Hackman plays a classic, old school NSA style private contractor intercept operator who gets the telephone communications and private conversations on the street of a young couple, and it turns into a conspiracy, right? A conspiracy. Or that same guy later on in life as an old retired NSA operator who is in the movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith. And let me tell you something. That guy Gene Hackman plays in that movie, those guys are real. I mean, I don't know who their consultant was, but it was one of those old school guys who understand that you got to build a Faraday cage around to stop the signals from emanating, or the baddie guys can get you. Or in this fanciful world there, they intercepted everything. Telephones, radios, cell phones, use visual intelligence, satellite-based intelligence. If only thing that was missing in the modern world was the drones, right? So people like this exist. And our opponents have boatloads of these people, because hostile governments that don't care about your civil rights will dedicate enormous resources to getting information out of you. That being said,
here we go, y'all.
What I'm going to do is explain to you how a hostile government would target this national security working group, and it wouldn't even need the phone numbers of every individual, because this device, which I call a intelligence jackpot double bonanza jubilee special, will give me everything I need. All I need is one thing, and one thing every intercept operator knows: access. And once I have access, whether that's your password, whether that's looking over your shoulder, whether that's this thing emanating a signal, which could be intercepted, and just extrapolating where it is, what it's doing, and who it's communicating to, I can build your entire universe around you, and I can tell you everything you don't want me to know, right? So, as we all know, this little transmitter, which Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says causes brain cancer, this device that you see here.
Heavenly beauty on stage.
Okay, there we go.
Is what we pray for at night, is that you misuse this device. So now a little lesson in cryptologic history. I was on a Twitter Spaces the other night, and people kept saying, "Why do you keep giving us these examples of history?" Well, because not all of this is new. Look, when Marconi invented the wireless, the intercept operator already existed. The phrase wiretaps actually came from the Civil War, when intercept operators would climb up a pole between two telegraph cables and put a tap on it and sit there with the key and watch it bounce off while these two people communicated, and he'd write down everything they sent, right? That's where a tap came from.
Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that history of where the word and term wiretap came from? Literally, there was someone that climbed on a pole and tapped into the wire physically to get the communication. Man, that's why it's so important to learn. Information is so good.
All of these things, intercepting radio waves, is where intercept came from. So the point being, and not to mention in the old days, when you had a hand encoded thing and you put it in the leg, in the stocking of a prostitute, and the guards from Elizabethan England would stop you, take it out of your garter, break that code, put it back into your garter, pay you in gold. That too was an intercept. The point being that once that information is acquired, or the methodology of sending is acquired by a hostile intelligence agency, it's pretty damn easy to figure out who you are, where you are, what you're doing, who you're communicating with, And once you start communicating with those people, we will check the frequency of your communications, the date and time of day that you're communicating. So if it's Saturday night at 02:30 and you're not calling your wife, and you're certainly not calling the Yemen working group, I'm going to assume you're calling for a booty call. And guess what? That is a thing, because we have found people out there have patterns of communication that they don't want their spouse or other partners to know about. And we always know when you're calling your wife, right? Just after you leave for work. Then just once a time during the day to see what's going on or what the kids are doing. At the end of the business day, as you're going home to work and you're finding out what's for dinner. And then your communications with that person stops because you are now with that person. And in theory, you're face to face. I mean, if you've got a house as big as mine, you got to call downstairs sometimes or send text messages.
Isn't it interesting how looking at your patterns, and that's what, pretty much, that's what surveillance is, right? Watching patterns and looking at people. You see people that are, what they call it, private eyes, and they watch people, their movements. But this is it gets even more fascinating. Listen to this.
But I can tell a lot about your communications pattern just from when your phone turns on, just from when your phone turns off. When do you actually turn your phone off, or do you let it emanate day and night? Do you text at 0300? Do you text at 0500 to someone who is not part of the United States government? You are now telling, it could be your bookie, could be your crack dealer. I don't know, but I'm going to find out, because at some point you are going to become very interesting to me. Unfortunately for the people in the United States government, you start off as a target based on the level of your proximity to leadership for foreign intelligence agencies. Trust me, nobody before December was targeting Pete Hegseth for his Fox News drunk ramblings on television because he was a mid-level major in the National Guard. Nobody. He was not a target. You could go on television and watch him. Open source intelligence if you wanted to know what Pete Hegseth was thinking. Or the Sean Ryan show or some other show full of conspiracy theories. But the minute that someone got wind in Moscow, Beijing, Tehran, or Caracas, Venezuela, that Pete Hegseth was going to be the what? Secretary of Defense? Whoa! A special high-value target task group themselves by every one of those countries will form because the cabinet is formed.
Notice he's talking about how as soon as they announce your position, you become the target. Even before he even got into the office, he's going to break it down also how they start, the wheels are in motion to hack everything they need to hack. So they can monitor your communications because they know who you're going to be. They know your position. They know what your position is going to be. So now they're hacking already way before. So that his phone, his little Signal phone or his Signal account or the phone that he uses, that was as soon as they announced him as being the Secretary of State, of Defense, he was already a target to be hacked. And this is like mind-boggling.
They already have collection managers, senior decision makers looking at the American national security tree, and they will decide who is going to get targeted. I'm going to solve that problem for you. Everyone is going to get targeted. Not only you, your secretary, your driver, your wife, your homies, your boo-boo, whatever you got out there, any freaking number that's on your cell phone is getting targeted, and you are going into the great Chinese, Russian, Iranian, Venezuelan, Dutch vacuum cleaner in the sky, and they will now bring that collection down to a team that is dedicated to you because they are going to evaluate some things. They're going to evaluate whether you're an idiot. And that is a technical phrase in signals intelligence. Because, history lesson here, way back in the oldie days of World War II, Hitler used a collection system that was a much higher level of encryption than the Enigma machine that you are all familiar with. Everybody knows the Enigma machine was used for command and control communications between German high command, German commanders, German submarines, German field officers, and they went through special communications hubs, and they had to use these little rotors, and it gave them like millions and millions and millions of permutations to tell you to encrypt the message, and then it would come out decrypted at the other end based on your communication settings for that day, right? Right. Malcolm, how did those guys over at Bletchley Park, of which I am a life member, friends of Bletchley Park, how did they know to get holes in that to exploit it? Well, the Enigma machine, when you consider it, was relatively easy. For all the difficulty that it took in the 15 years of Polish, French, British, and American cryptographers to break into that thing. If you want to know all about this, go watch the movie Imitation Game, right? You can see Alan Turing was not just a German linguist. He was a cryptologist and mathematician that spoke German, all of which would come together in important ways. So,
but you see also the proximity, like he brings up, is not just Hexeth and all the people that are on this, let's say this chat, but every single person that's connected to someone in power. So all the people in the world that want to be close to power, proximity to power, you become a target immediately as you connect with those who are in power. You become a you become a target from our enemies.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I hear what he's saying. I understand it. My question mark is, if the enemy is no longer an enemy and now an ally, are they really at risk? Because when he talked about like we're now in the crosshairs of Venezuela and Russia and China, them bitches are like bosom buddies now. So is there really, my thought is, if our allies are no longer our allies and our enemies are our allies, the people that should be concerned about being targeted would be the American citizen, because they're snatching up folks off the street. I don't see him being a target. I don't see them having any issues. They are sharing secrets openly and blatantly. And they're like, who's going to check me, boo? Right? So I think the concern is really on the American citizen side of, you're now the person who's being surveilled. It's now what you put out on social media and everything else. They're starting with those who are not U.S. citizens, but it's only a matter of time before we go missing.
Yeah.
So are they the target here? Like, I see what he's saying, but I'm not getting it because they're not our enemies anymore.
What he's doing here is breaking it down so you understand about the hierarchy of the government of the United States. However, later on, he does go into we're all at risk because the government is doing that with all of us. I mean, not us individually, but for whatever reason, like the young lady that was, like you just sent me the tape yesterday of the woman that was just coming out her building, and then next thing she's now in her lawyers can't contact her. She's just been taken on the streets, and now she's gone. She's just missing. She's gone, but they just know that she's in Louisiana. So what's happening is that he's giving you the whole blueprint of how surveillance works. And that means that gives us also warning to say, okay, if this is going on, not only is it happening in the high ranks of government or people that are being profiled because of their proximity to power, because also, as he's sharing, we all know that our allies also spy on us.
Well, okay, so
for those that don't know how the CIA and MI5 and all the other MI6 and all the other ones out there, and the Israelis, all of us, all of the countries spy on each other. That is an everyday occurrence. However, is done within what they call this, whatever that mathematical reason. But British people, the British Secret Service is spying on the Americans. The Americans are spying on the British. There's allocations to all of this. Everyone's spying on everyone. However, in this case of what's happening in our government, is that he's painting the picture of how horrible this breach is. Because
but here's my question: who is it horrible for? I get that
it's for the country.
In our previous life in America, the previous America, this would be concerning. But when you have an American government that is partnering with Russia and all the other people who have been our enemies, who exactly is I don't think it's the government that's at risk.
The government is at risk.
Is that making sense?
No,
because I can see how in the past it would have been like something bad's going to happen. Yeah, because them bitches are doing it together against us. It's a coup. So I'm trying to figure out, like,
I need you to expand your peripherals. So, because what it is that again is Russia is still our enemy.
In what universe?
Well, even though Trump wants to get in bed with Russia,
get in bed.
Russia is still our enemy,
bruh. Okay,
look,
maybe
I have to agree with Gwendolyn there.
Our coffee today.
Yeah, but the thing is,
past that. We are past the place of what was. We are now in what is.
And what is still that we still have confidential information that we do have secrets. We still have secrets because we even have secrets among our friends. Okay. I'm just want you to say we have always had spies watching us, whether they were friend or foe.
That part's
right.
Done.
But I think what Gwendolyn's point is, what she's trying to make is that in the current environment we're in, our quote unquote, what we consider our enemies are quote unquote now our friends. So like, despite what we might believe as American citizens, the U.S. government is looking at Russia as friend.
But
they're no longer our enemies.
Even though we have friends and allies as a government,
they're still spying on us. We do it to them.
Exactly. We have secrets.
But here's the thing, though. We do not know, or we will not know the full extent of what Trump is giving them and what they know.
This is true. But there's always...
And it'll come out that he knows a hell of a lot more than he's leading on to, because here's the thing. Putin's smart. Trump is dumb. Let's just be... Yeah. That's what it is.
Well, we already know that Putin already said that, Trump is a useful fool. Right? He's a useful fool. Even the point where they had a situation, I think it was last week, where Trump was trying to contact Putin and he just was on a stage talking. He was like, it's just him. It was just like, and he's talking in Russian and he's like, it's just the American president. As if like he's just a fly. He's not even important. Because this is how it works. But we still have to say, we still are in a position of, we have top secret information on things that we have, things that we're doing, covert information, spies that we have in the field. There's a lot of stuff, top secret information that even our friends don't know.
I get that. But this country also elected a felon who's going to do some criminal things, have already done criminal things.
Right.
Okay, so we're already there. So I get that this is concerning. I'm not saying that, but I don't see where there could be a breach when it's like, here, have my phone. You can have it. Take all of it. Like, I'm not understanding.
Yeah.
I believe now we didn't see the whole video, but if I was going to have a conversation, it would be more of, hey, U.S. citizens, recognize where you are right now. Your idea of freedom of speech, it's hanging by a very, very thin thread.
Oh, it is.
That's where we are. That's reality.
Well, you're looking at on the citizen level.
Well, what other level is there when the government is on, like, our government?
Spheres of power.
Our government is on human rights watch lists. We have travel concerns. We are not the same country. I'm not worried about these text messages because
you should be, though. You should be worried about these text messages because they are the windows and entryways to getting into the top secret information that the government has that needs to be stayed.
You don't have to have an entryway or a back door when the guy at the front of the office is opening the front door for them. But you don't need to have a back door.
But you're still not getting it. You're still not getting it. You're looking at it on a citizen level.
I'm not getting it.
Because again, we have spies. We have people that go into countries that are risking their lives to get information overseas. That information could kill our people in action.
Okay, so here's my thought to that. That assumes that those spies aren't working with those other people. Our allies are no longer our allies. Last time I checked, Canada and Mexico, we got problems right now. They're not talking anymore. They're not sharing stuff anymore.
We got problems with France and England.
I mean, what you're saying, we're saying the same thing, but they're on two different levels of surveillance and two different levels of secrecy. There's
right, but so Ron,
there's high level secrecy.
But here's the top high level secrecy is out there now on Signal. So what was that?
We don't know what's out there. Well, now we
do. Look,
well, this is
we have gotten an inkling and a glimpse into what these people have been doing. This is not the first time they're doing it. It's the first time they got caught.
Correct.
So that just proves that they've been doing this now for the past 2 months because they've been in power for the last 2 months.
Right.
I would not be surprised if this is how they're communicating all of the information. Why? Hey, I'll pull it out my phone and I'm just going to communicate that way. And as this guy has clearly stated that once your phone is on, they can get everything they need on you.
Right.
And they're getting all the information on all the top people, the people that quote unquote are important in government. So once you have access to the top tiers of government, everything else is minuscule. Like us little people, it doesn't matter because they have what they need.
Yes, and total agreement. But
I think that's what Gwendolyn is saying.
The whole point,
the front door is open.
I hear you. The whole point of this exercise is to allow the American people to know how serious this is. Do you follow what I'm saying?
No, okay. So here's what I don't understand, and I keep hearing what you're saying, but when you talk about it, you in my mind, you were speaking about it in a different time in America where there was decorum and we actually valued our allies and we understood the importance of keeping things secret. This administration, everything is up for sale. You got a guy who's not even he's not an elected official who's going around firing people and breaking stuff. So we had already been intercepted some time ago. And now you got us voting with Russia and other people against Ukraine. We are not in the same universe. That time is over.
I agree with you.
I don't know if when they are sharing stuff, that this breach, that they're not in cahoots with Iran and anybody else. We don't know that.
No, we don't.
From the moment he took office, he put every single American citizen's life at risk, and they could care less. They could care less. You put out all those people from January 6th, literally criminals back on the street.
They're good people.
Right? So there's no care and concern for the American citizen. So I get what he is saying. But when I hear him say that, that is for a different time in the U.S. And that time is gone because everything is up for sale. Every single thing is up for sale.
But again, you're missing the point.
I'm not missing the point. In my head, if you're anything, they're working together.
And this is the great part about having our communication and having this kind of conversation, because we can have a difference in opinion. But what you're saying is true. What you're saying is true. However, for what this gentleman is sharing, he's sharing this to bring awareness to the people, us, of how severe this breach is in the government. Does that make sense? Are we all in agreement that this is giving you an outline of how the tiers of government are working in secret services, in keeping top secret information confidential, and how it works, giving you how it works in intelligence. That's not to say that Trump may have sold all the information. We don't know that. But we also know
we've seen some stuff.
But again, as we all have known, is that throughout history, even with our allies and our friends, we still have spies that are spying on them, and they have spies that are spying on us.
But that's
they are still our allies, and they're still our friends.
I don't see the point. Okay, so allies spying, people spying on each other, that's not, I don't see how that has anything to do with this. I'm going back to his point of that there's a serious breach. Is there a breach? Yes. But when he says our enemies, who exactly are those people when they're in bed together?
I said, you're still not getting it.
Really, I'm not getting it.
Even if they were our enemies and they are still our friends, we have always operated on a level of spying on our friends. If Russia is still our friend, we are still going to spy on Russia.
Which does what?
Because that's what we do as a country.
Okay, great. So we all agree that stuff is happening.
Intelligence.
Yeah, I get that.
Right.
That's not my concern. None of that is my concern.
It should be all of our concern.
What? That we spy on each other?
Well, no.
They've been doing that for like forever.
There's a breach in the intelligence level of all that information that's out in the world that's important, that now because of it, we are all in danger as a country.
So maybe, okay, so is he saying that the people who should be concerned are our allies because now their stuff is at risk? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Because it's not the U.S. because they're just giving that shit up.
No, again, that's an assumption. We don't know.
Is it? So
we don't know. We don't have the
guy who had all those documents in his bathroom. We don't assume that he already sold some stuff.
We don't know.
We still can't
we can't state it that it is so. If we don't have the receipts to say it, right? But
I trust my gut though.
Well, you can trust your gut. We can trust our gut, but the receipts we don't have. But we need to know what's going on as a community, or what's happening, and why it's important that the breach has happened. Signal, yes, it's on Signal, but like Chris said, it's on many levels. They've been doing this probably for 2 months already. How many of our secrets, how many of top secret information, how much of our intelligence has been compromised?
If we go back to when Netanyahu visited Mar-a-Lago, we can go back in 2 months.
Let's see what the people are saying. Okay, here we go. This is a good conversation. I love this. This is how people do it in the square.
Let me just comment on something, because a lot of people were talking about how they're selling the government and that. If you watched Rachel Maddow last night or listened to the podcast, she even talked about how Trump created a special religious group with in the government, and then the woman that they appointed as the head of this.
You did have to go there, didn't you?
Yes, we have to go there
with Paula.
Yes, she's actually selling. I don't even know what to call it. Like, she's selling prayers. It starts from like anywhere from $100, but if you want the ultimate prayer, for a prayer that covers you for a full year, you can pay her $1,000. And she works for the U.S. government. So
Well, they
now
set
our
the office.
U.S.
They created the
government,
office for that. But that's another subject.
yes,
We can go down that road tomorrow. But I mean,
does no one see what's
today is about
happening?
surveillance. The country is already in a dictatorship. It is an autocracy. We have lost our liberties.
I got a bridge to sell you. Come on, the U.S. government selling you a bridge.
That's a whole nother story with Paula. She has she has her own little section now in government. And for those that don't know, and then she's selling a bunch of stuff. But that's another story for another day, maybe tomorrow. But let's see what the people are saying in here. Let me look at the time. Oh, we're doing okay. Here we go. Charlene says they hit the jackpot with this administration. Kimmy says, do they even think about not only themselves but their families? Can Jones was taking talking about the talk you get when you first get there. Scared him. She meant Van Jones. And the country is at risk. Yes. Rosemary says, as the former wife of a person that had to spend his days in a skiff, sensitive compartmented information facility, this pisses me off how careless they are. See, this is the point, how careless they are. Janet says, GR, yes, you are just as vulnerable as a friend. We have also, Ron says, yes. Also, we got Rosemary, McKenney, careless, and they don't seem to care. That's the point. They don't care. That's the whole point of this whole thing. This conversation.
It's not about being careless. It's not about them being careless. It's that they don't care. They know that they can get away with it, and they can, explain it off as, oh, it's fake news. Here's the thing. Donald Trump has set this thing up for years by saying fake news. And he can just pretty much write off anything as an excuse. It's fake. It's fake. No,
that's his fault. That's his default. It's fake news. It's fake. It's a witch hunt. Janet says, it is equally horrible and at risk equally. Rosemary says that part. And then that's what Donette said to Rosemary. Rosemary says, these are stupid but rich tyrants. I agree. Hannah says, so right on Hexeth. He is a complete idiot, Anthony. And also, Kim says, I think they are using our government to get at us more power. Anthony says, they're in bed. Their feet are touching.
Child, yes. They're playing footsies.
Rosemary says, being in those high security places is a mentality to say the least, but it's necessary. Rosemary also says, working in those high security. Oh, I got that part. Okay, moving to the next thing. That came on twice. Okay, Dr. Taji says, it's not a breach when you leave your test paper right side up on the desk and then go to the bathroom. Oh,
that part.
That's a good analogy.
Or you leave the door unlocked and you crack it a little bit. Come on in.
Yeah, come on in. Rosemary says the act there at Disneyland planning what rides they will attack. Clowns. And also Dr. Taji says, honestly, both levels of this are important, the governmental level and the citizen level. It all needs to be considered. Thank you, Dr. Taji. And Kimmy says, but we need to remember, it's not just Trump. These organizations that have partnered with this ideology are not thinking about the detriment occurring, because we all know that Trump is the puppet. He is the Trojan horse. This is, again, the Heritage Society and what? Right? So we got the Heritage Society and the
Heritage Foundation?
Federalist Foundation.
Yes. Well,
also, we have Janet says, there are multiple levels of security, not just 2 levels. Dr. Ty says they probably have been, is just now they got caught. Again, these are the same people who release official policies on X. Elise is in the building. What's going on, Elise? She says, hello, everyone. Elise is in the building. And she's in the back, so we're gonna bring her forward as well. We're gonna get ready to get off here, but she's gonna come on. And Kimmy says, I see Gwen. I see Gwen's point. I think eventually they will come for people who don't agree with their ideology. They're already doing it.
They're already there.
They're
already there.
Look at the students who was protesting. He was speaking up against the government. They rounded him up. They're coming for people. They're not only coming for people that have green cards. They're coming for people that are naturalized citizens, and then they're going to come for people that were born here to parents that are not citizens, which they've actually, I think, started doing. So they're doing it. They're doing all the things.
I see here, Kim. They are going to come after everyone who speaks out against them. Absolutely. Elise says, Kimmy Kim says, yes, Elise. Sometimes I don't want to chat about it, but I can't help it. We still. Elise says, we provide each other with intelligence information that would help us stay safe. Kimmy Kim says, we still need to check on them. So I guess any country to determine our risk in the world. This is one of the reasons why we spy on each other. Elise says they are going to sell the Easter egg roll this year. Yes, because everything is up for sale with this man. Everything. Like Gwendolyn said, everything is up for sale. Not just, we don't know. We don't know how much he already sold.
Listen, the government's having a fire sale. Everything must go.
Everything must go. Everything is on sale. Information is the number one quantity. The spice, as I said, commodity. Kimmy says the spies are definitely working overtime for sure now. Yes. Janet says she's selling a modern day indulgence. That's talking about Jane, Pauline, Paula, whatever her last name is. Paula Jones. Was it Jones? Is it Paul? What's her last name?
I really don't care.
Informational okay, got you. We're on there. Hey, Tom Morris is in the building. So much classified information has been in the open. It's impossible to assess the extent of the damage. None of our adversaries will raise a hand and say, yeah, we got some of your stuff. True, because everyone is getting the information. Hey, Janet, I see in there. Derek says, MTG Paula White. That's her last name. All of them need to be under surveillance for selling classified information. Warren says, but we've known for the past 50 years at least that the average American citizen is under surveillance, possibly constantly. It's just that Trump has decided to use that against us in his advantage. I see also some from Elise. Tom says, this administration is not about doing anything for Americans. They're about wrecking and rob everything. Rashawn says, happy Thursday. And going down the list here, Bryson says, MTG needs to shut the hell up for a second. We can't stand that bleach, blonde, bad built Bush body. She's unhinged. Yes, she went after. Yeah, she went after the English
UK reporter.
Yesterday. Yeah, she was horrible. Tom Morris says, my hope is that their incompetence will keep them from wrecking the republic. My fear is that their incompetence will cost lives. I can say it is. It's happening, and it's going to happen in a big way. Rosemary says,
let me tell you something.
I love
They're
when
all
you
drunk on power. Hold on. They're all drunk on power. They've got into a car and they're about to wreck it.
Yeah. Rosemary says, I love when you read our comments, Ron. It's important because we are a community. We're having a community chat. If you guys want to pop on, you're more than welcome to pop on. But this is what's good is I like when you're learning other people's perspective and learning how other people are thinking about a particular subject. Back in the old days, this was very common in the square. People used to get together in their neighborhoods, on the stoops, in the square. When you go to different countries and you see all the old men hanging out in the square and the women hanging out in the market in the square, and they're just chatting about the occurrences of what's happening in the world. That's how we sharpen each other. That's how we get better. That's how we learn. And so this was really good, vigorous conversation because we're learning from each other. And that's why also sharing your comments is important too, because everyone has a perspective and how, so we're learning from each other. So thank you, Rosemary. That's sweet. Dr. Tai says, this year's Easter roll, egg roll is sponsored by Tesla. We salute you.
So does that mean the eggs are going to get recalled?
Bleach. The recalls of Teslas. Derek says Botox bubble headed bleach blonde. And then Tom says, I do enjoy the lively back and forth. It's good. It's good because Gwendolyn and I are gonna be laughing about the other things.
Nothing against you.
This is not personal.
Oh no, none of this is personal. None of it is personal.
No.
For me, like when people bring stuff to my table, my attention span, it can go, but there's also a point where I'm like, what's the fucking point? Because like we're talking about the American government as if we are still in 2024. That bitch is dead and gone. We have a government that is coming for its citizens. It is coming for democracy. So when we talk about something, we need to check our language. Stop saying stuff like, well, we do this. We don't do that. We don't do that.
We did.
It's past tense. So if we're going to talk about stuff, talk about what's happening right here, right now. Our allies, whoever the fuck they are at this point, they're not talking like they used to. Why? Because they're not allies anymore. We are not in the America that we remember. We're not there.
We all know that the moment that J.D. Vance, they've known for a while, but I'm just saying when the Germans and the French literally actually made the statement that we no longer can depend on the Americans after what they did with Zelensky in the office. The rest, Europe finally, all of the warning bells came to play and saying, we can no longer depend on the Americans. We are not trusting the Americans because they are no longer our dependable ally. They learned that during the first Trump administration. Now they have no doubt. Germany says, we are good. We good. We don't need your military equipment. We're going to build our own. Now, not only are we going to build our own, but we're going to build it for the rest of Europe. So now what's happening, like the Mooch was on Don Lemon yesterday sharing about all those government contracts that all of these big government war machines in America, Fairchild, Boeing, Halliburton, all these other companies, they're going to lose contracts because now the rest of the world was not going to buy from America. They're going to buy from Germany. They're going to buy from France. Whoever are these new people that are the new players in the game, building new weapons and advancing, because now they realize with what Trump has done, he's awakened a Europe. Europe was dependent upon America on so many things. Now they realize they cannot depend, and they were our allies, and we could say they're partially, but then they're just allies in name only. You can no longer trust the American government. Anytime you have the French government last week, I think it was Friday, or the German government, both putting out bulletins for their citizens, don't go to America. It's a dangerous place. A warning, travel warnings. You know, we are in another world. We are in another place. The Canadian government had also put out a travel warning to America. When you have a French citizen, just because they had stuff on their devices, they took their devices, which is I learned is a common practice. They took the devices, but what was on it said, nope, You got to go back home. Nope, we're not letting you into America. Sending you back. Then there was a German teacher. It was not German. It was a German woman. Don't know what her position was. They had her locked up. Had her under in custody for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yep. So could you imagine what this woman felt like for 2 weeks? And it goes on. There's a whole list of our European friends being put in detention or being turned around. Yes.
There's no guarantee that when us as U.S. citizens, when we leave this country, we'll be able to even come back into our country. Oh, do you have your birth certificate? Oh, did you say something negative about the president? Well, then you know what? You can't come here. Where are your people from originally? We need to send you back there. Like, it's crazy. I know people that are making decisions not to go on their travel plans because they're not sure they can come back in the country. They'll be let back in.
There was a woman,
and it doesn't matter what type of papers you have.
There was a woman that went on her page went on one of her things went viral on Instagram because she was coming back in through Miami. She was a Miami citizen, Miami resident, I should say, American citizen in Miami. And she said she felt like they may have felt like she was a criminal. They interrogated her, where she went to, why she went there, blah, 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 blah. And she said she was literally in tears as she was walking through the airport. I can't believe what just happened to me. But America is no longer the democracy it was 2 months ago. We are not that country any longer. Like Gwendolyn said, we are no longer that country. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, I have to think my strategy. If I leave to go to another country to live or visit, will I be able to come back? Especially all the stuff that I put on my phone. Will I be able to come back to this country? Will any of us be able to come back to this country? These are the ones. But again, I'll let you guys finish on your time with Michael Nance. He does go into, he's giving you history, sharing the history, but he's also sharing at the last part of that video about what's happening now. So check that out. Again, I'll put the link into the description. This was a great conversation.
A fire conversation.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. We had our wonderful Elise is back there. I'm sorry, Elise. How you doing?
It's okay. I know I was late. Look, I had a dental appointment. I was listening in the car, and then I heard what Gwendolyn was saying. I was like, wait a minute. Let me come in here for a second. How's everyone doing?
Let me help my sister.
Well, it wasn't even to help my sister, maybe to help my brother too. But anyway, a part of it is that when we start the conversation, and especially when we start talking about what our allies have done in the past, as far as how they use intelligence information. Yes. We do have to be careful on whether they're spying on us or not. They had mutual collection of intelligence information. And I say this because I knew a lot of people in intelligence at one point in my life that they shared to keep each other safe.
Yes.
It was about safety. Now they no longer have to share that information. The same way they blocked Ukraine from getting information when Russia did that attack on them is what they block right now. So those that we needed just as much as they needed us, we need them to give us intelligence information because you don't know what they're doing in the back channels. We don't. There's information that we don't know. So I think that when we're talking about our allies, we do have to understand that it's not quote unquote just spying on us. It's actually supporting us. That's what they were doing. Now they have no reason to do that. I'm not going to help you. It's like I don't have anything for you. I don't. We're not friends anymore. Like we definitely not friends because I can't trust you because you're gonna sell me down the river. That's what you're gonna do because everything has a price. And by the way, I was not joking about the egg roll. They actually are going to sell access to it to corporations.
I heard about that.
Just open. So that's what they're doing. So it's a real thing. Everything is for sale. America's on sale. That White House should just have a for sale sign outside of it.
Everything is on sale.
But I think
it does. I mean, they had the cars on the front lawn. Now they selling the egg rolls.
They're selling green cards.
They selling the gold tickets.
Yeah,
gold tickets.
The gold ticket. The gold ticket.
The gold tickets. But I think it's like Gwendolyn was saying, like we have to understand and understand we're not wherever we were.
Yeah, we are definitely not the country.
That ship sailed, and right now we're in this thing with a bunch of holes in it and trying to patch it up. That's where we are. We're not there anymore. And we have we have to take that in. And I know I was listening to the whole, and I'm one of those ones like Gwendolyn. Sometimes I get my attention span go away, right? So I was listening to the guy talking when you were playing, and I was like, okay, that's enough. That's a lot. And of course, I know that and Jazzy reminds me of this a lot because of where I reside.
Mm-hmm.
I made it hear a little more about that than other people.
Yes.
And because of my experiences and stuff. So it made but I think that as long as we keep it where we don't cloud people into thinking that, oh, everybody does it. I think that's a dangerous thing to do.
Yes.
Because then we don't value. It's like, oh, Gwendolyn does this and that. I don't value what Gwendolyn actually does to keep me safe.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you got what we need to be clear on is it's not just going to be the people who are that they know who are here on visas. It's going to be you and me.
Yes, right. It's everyone. Every one of us.
Come in and try to do, the no-knock warrants they had down there that got Breonna Taylor killed.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come in our houses like that. They're going to force their way out there. And when we're outside, they're going to look for us. They're going to do us the same way. And we need to be real clear on that. Because nobody's safe with these people.
No one's safe.
No one.
At all. And you see what he already did with intelligent, and like Biden and Vice President Harris and Obama and Clinton. They no longer have access to.
Well, so here's the thing, and this is my notion on that. The reason why they moved them from getting classified briefings because of what's in them now.
Yes,
these classified briefings are more beneficial to Putin and which were traditionally our adversaries, and they don't want them knowing that information. It's not about
hiding. They just want to hide. They want to hide it. What's going on?
Well, unless they get on one of those chats with them mistakenly, they might be able to find information. But
that's more likely to happen.
Yeah, the thing that's just boggles my mind, and everybody else. I like, and we have to understand the times we're sitting in, right?
Yes. If
this were December and it happened with Biden, and it was somebody during his time that did this, everybody would have been yelling to the top of their lungs to remove people. Fox would have been out there saying whatever. Now, because it's them, and I love that the reporter said, okay, I'm going to only give you a snippet, but if they force my hand, I'm going to let you all know exactly what it says. So now, Chelsea, you have to go back and say, well, you know what? Maybe I wasn't on there at that time. You got to back the lie with a lie. Because you said it wasn't anything on there at first. And you said it with such confidence. I know she got Botox or something on that top lip, but anyway. It didn't move. But you said it with such confidence, right?
Yeah.
That was not there. But in the next day, now you got to go, well, wait a minute. Maybe I wasn't on there when that happened. And no, girl, you lied.
Yeah, they know they lied. And that's why he put it out there. That's why Jeff Goldberg, he said, you know what? Y'all telling me it's not top secret. So I can just put it out there.
Yeah, and I respected what he did, if
it's not top secret, then I can share it.
Look, not as far as the clown. I respected that he kept that woman who was out there.
And he didn't, he kept her redacted.
Because they had her name in there.
Yes.
So he didn't let her name out there. But of course, this alerts those people, now that it's out there.
Yes.
That you need to start looking for this woman, right? You need to start to look for this woman who's responsible for letting them know where you were.
Yes.
You're going to start looking for her.
They're going to be looking for her.
They're going to start looking for all the people who are, because they got, this wasn't like Israel and they just had beepers. You had a human being telling you where these people were.
Yes.
That means that they're going to start now looking for these people. And of course, how do you all feel about the fact that yesterday. This man sat there because it's his pattern and said he didn't know 4 soldiers had gotten killed. And nobody's like, and they shut anybody down that has a question, right?
Yeah, because hello, he's the president.
That's rude and disrespectful. That's a nasty question.
You're a nasty person. You're a nasty lady. You're nasty.
Yeah, just like he didn't own the ones that got killed when he was in the first time.
Yeah.
That he was, nobody got killed under me. Yeah, they did.
You are the commander in chief. The buck stops with you, and you do not take any responsibility for anything you do. He doesn't know these people. He doesn't know anything about it. He hasn't heard it. Like, my thing is, you're supposed to be the president. You don't know anything. You know nothing. What the fuck are you doing in office?
Everything. Remember, he's the one. Only he can fix it because he knows everything. But yet, anytime there's a scandal or something happening, I don't know nothing about it. I don't know that individual. I don't know her. I never heard of her.
He doesn't know. There's a phrase that's called plausible deniability.
Yeah,
he doesn't know when to use it.
Right.
Yes.
Because he thinks he's being clever, but he's stupid. I mean,
he looks like a fool.
He's stupid. Because plausible deniability is something different. It's not 4 soldiers got killed and everybody else in the universe knows it, and you're gonna say, "Well, I didn't know that."
And you're the president.
You know.
And you're the president.
You're supposed to know everything.
Somebody told
you're briefed on everything.
Yes, he's briefed on everything. Sean Hannity probably called him. You know, he knew that.
Yes,
but you're gonna sit there and on national TV and say, "No, I didn't know that." And then the rest of them are going to. Now, what is Mike Johnson saying now that the guy put out all of the text messages? And I tell people, I don't care what you're doing, and everyone, little young kids used to use Snapchat.
Right.
This is like the adult version of Snapchat.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And so even doing Snapchat, all I got to do is screenshot everything you do. I can blackmail you based on what you do during that little chat, right?
Mm.
I just
so you gotta trust everybody that's in on the chat.
How to do that, how to take this.
Here's the other thing, though. This reporter got put into this chat, quote unquote, accidentally.
Accidentally.
How did we not know that someone else wasn't put in there accidentally? That's not in the U.S. government.
You don't,
or not even an American.
And you don't know how many times it's been done.
The one guy was with Putin in Moscow.
Yes.
That was
and I mentioned that earlier.
And they said they said nothing gets past the Putin the Kremlin without if it's a cell phone on that's turned on, they know about what's going on.
But that's the whole thing of whatever he has on the current president, right?
Yes.
Is whatever he has on him is documented.
Yes, whatever
he
that
does
is.
Not want that to come out. Whatever he has on his wife is documented. Everything that Putin has is documented, right? Because that's what he was. He was KGB. He has everything documented. There's nothing that was there. Now that man, all of them were supposed to be in a situation room.
Yes.
Where there were no electronic devices. If they wanted to do something, they should have been face to face on some kind of telecall. They should not have been, and it shouldn't have done that even in Russia, because there's no safe space in Russia that you can go to. There's no room, no hotel room. You ever go to Russia? Don't count on any of your hotel rooms. Or anything.
That's right. They said everything is bugged. Everything is bugged.
Yes. So everything is bugged. So how did you have this man on a call who's in Russia? And as
not
Chris
in the
said,
embassy.
They have no
the only
idea
safe spot is the embassy.
Into this call. They have no idea who they pull into this stream, this message stream. No idea.
You don't know.
And then one guy's like, "Oh, no, you know how you have people and you might have put the wrong name." No, that's called as the one said on the Daily Show. Maybe that's because you're having an affair and you don't want people to know the name. I don't know.
Well, we've got to end it here. First of all, we got to end it here because we got people go back to get to work and everything. But one thing we did have yesterday is a victory in Pennsylvania. The Democrat won in a 15% Republican lead. We had 2 yesterday. I think it was only in Pennsylvania yesterday.
Yeah, I think one in their house, and one in their Senate, I believe.
Oh, okay. So maybe both of them went to. I know about the seat that was up for grabs. And it went to the Democrat in a strong Republican stronghold area.
You know, Florida's coming up on the first. I don't know.
And Florida's coming to the first.
Wisconsin, the first two.
And Wisconsin is
And
also that
they've
first
outspent
Tuesday.
10-1.
Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah, I think it's that.
And I don't know, there's some voting going on in New Orleans at right now. I don't know what they're voting.
Turn blue. Let's go blue.
But you know, you have to. I have to tell you all this. I got a call from one of the people asking for money for Democrats. I told him, I said, look, I'm not doing a thing right now. And I said, and I am a Democrat. I said, what I need is for those ones in the House of Representatives to take their little happy feet down to Florida and go to those 2 red districts.
That's right. Go door to door. Go door to door.
And AOC and Jasmine Crockett. Look at Elon Musk out in Wisconsin. He's paying voters $100 to get people registered so that they can defeat this Democratic Supreme Court justice out there in Wisconsin.
It's a mess. It's a mess. And that's against the law.
Illegal.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. I thought he is. First of all, he's a part of. So he violates the Hatch Act.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he is technically said to be working for the federal government. As a federal government or any government, as a DC government employee, I could not do anything political, not for local or national, any politics I couldn't talk about because of the Hatch Act. So he's violating the Hatch Act. And then all of this money going every place. But I think that if the Democrats want to be effective, they need to spend their weekend in Florida and Wisconsin.
Camp out, go door to door, every single red door. Go in and talk to them, have a conversation. Okay, guys, we're out of here. But tomorrow we will be talking about Paula White. We will just scarcely go over it.
Jesus for sale.
Jesus is a government for sale. Get your sale.
You can be covered for a whole year.
Get your place in heaven for $1,000, and if you give me a little more, you can get more in heaven. And we are with this president.
You can't make this stuff up.
You can't make it up. This is it's real.
It's a movie,
You can't write this in a script. If you wrote this in a script, they would say, "Oh, no one would believe this."
It'll never happen.
Never happened, but it's happening. Rashawn says, "I love this conversation on today. I learned a lot. Thank you, panel." And I see here Anthony says, "Love, peace, and soul." Oh, I love that. Love, peace, and soul
for $1,000.
For $1,000. You can have a seat in heaven. We can get your prayers answered.
Who knows that easy?
She is
that all I have to
crazy.
do?
So crazy. But you know what the sad part is? There are people that will pay it.
Of course.
There are people that are going to go.
Paid it already.
Yeah. Donette says, "Thanks,
and they don't
panel."
even have it.
Dr. Tachi said, "This was great." This was a great conversation. I love good conversation. This is, again, like I said, this is how we learn. We learn. Okay, guys, we're out of here till tomorrow. Focus Friday. Come with your account that inspires, encourages, and blesses you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Thank you, Elise. Thank you, Chris. You guys rock. And I'm going to get this right. I'm going to get it right.
Here we go.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh, well, it changed. There we go. There we go. I got my fireworks. They're going. They're going. I love you all. Thank you. And Marvin Sapp just asked his congregation for 4K. Don't even get me started.
Lord Jesus.
Don't get me started. This is, that's a whole
just hit the exit outro button.
Close the doors. Don't let them out. Close the doors.
The doors of the church are closed right now. Okay, guys. Later. See you guys. Have a great Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.